that we're going to see a little more dicey racing here once we put them under the green.
Yeah, I would say that is the case there, Jeff. But the question is, when will that break loose? You know, we got that caution coming up later on, and you know everybody is content and patient right now. But as we know, there are moments in races at Daytona where everybody gets a little antsy, starts a little side draft. Next thing you know, people are bouncing off each other, and the aggression meter is pegged. The question is, when today will that happen? Everybody's been minding their P's and Q's, but the question is, how long will that last?
Good question. We're about to find out as we're getting ready to go back under the green flag. Pace car has the field in tow in the 31 degrees of banking off of turn number 4 as they approach the Geico restart zone. The pace car will make the left turn and we'll get this race resumed. There are 11 laps complete. Lap 12 will click off once they get back to the start-finish line.
Remember now, we are going to still see that caution flag come out at lap number 25 if we don't see anything prior to that. Chevrolet Camaro pace car comes to pit road. Up front, Paul Menard and Brad Keselowski, a pair of Ford Mustangs come together. They see the green flag go back in the air. On the inside, Brad Keselowski on the outside.
Good two-car length jump for Menard as they hit turn number 1. Keselowski to the outside a moment. He's got more drafting help. He'll go to the 2 spot. Now Joey Logano to the outside of Alex Bowman. Alex still waiting for help. Closest man there is Martin Truex Jr. Still a couple of car lengths back.
6 Fords lined up nose to tail on the outside of the racetrack. They are Paul Menard, Brad Keselowski, Joey Logano, Ryan Blaney, Ryan Newman, Kurt Busch there in launch number 3.
And then quickly single file in the outside lane, led by Paul Menard, then Keselowski, Joey Logano. You have Ryan Blaney there as well, followed by Ryan Newman.
Side-by-side battle, that inside draft being pulled along by Alex Bowman. That's back for the number 6 position.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Outside lead has the full head of steam.
Inside line plummeting as a result. Alex Bowman is all the way back into a side-by-side battle for 8th position with Denny Hamlin at the front of the pack. It continues to be Wood Brothers Racing and Paul Menard.
Matter of fact, he'll pull away from Keselowski by about a car length, but that won't last long. Here's Keselowski. He'll pull up onto the back bumper up. Paul Menard won't make any moves. First car out of line. Alex Bowman. Martin Truex Jr. towards the tail end of the field.
Those are the only 2 cars out of line right now. Now Kevin Harvick goes to the bottom of the racetrack, but those 3 cars on the inside begin to phase. Everybody else goes topside.
So, Rusty Wallace, I have a question for you. To think right now, maybe Doug Yates and all the employees of it's Fords 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right now here at Daytona.
Yeah, but right now they're feeling pretty confident, but he does know after lap 25 when the caution plate comes out, that's probably when the real race is going to start. In fact, it's probably going to start with like 15 laps to go in this race. That's what I'm predicting. But, you know, you never count your chickens until they're all done. Is that the way I'm supposed to say it? I don't know, but I'm telling you what, those Fords look good right now.
That works for me. That's a new way to say it. I'm all for it. Everybody, all 20 cars lined up nose to tail. They exit turn number 4, head back to the start-finish line. Lap number 15 about to go on the board. Paul Menard up front, but Keselowski's there.
Blaney and Ryan Newman will stay put. No further back, perhaps we may see somebody try to bust a move and pull out a line. But Dave Moody, we all understand one thing very clearly. We saw Eric Jones try to do it not too long ago. If you're going to bust a move and drop down to the bottom, you better have somebody going with you.
Yeah, you got to have friends around here, Jeff. To move all by yourself to the inside or the outside, for that matter. That Bagley, that's a move that's destined to fail.
Oh, it is. You have to have, there's something to be said for strength in numbers here at Daytona. When you pull out of line, you need as much drafting help as possible, and then the shenanigans begin. Whether you're side drafting cars or whether you decide to bump draft, you're going to stuck up and not have that help and go all the way to the back of the pack.
Continuing to go single file for the most part. However, Dave, over turn 1, somebody wants to go racing.
Martin Truex Jr. takes a dive to the inside of the Clint Boyer machine, tries to slide up in line. Boyer has none of it. Truex now stranded on the bottom.
Truex tries to get in line behind Boyer in front of Eric Jones. No room there. Now he's still out of line. Chase Elliott comes to his rescue, but both of of those drivers fall to the very end of the field.
Running 18th and 19th on the bottom of the racetrack. Martin Truex Jr. and Chase Elliott. Elliott gets to the outside lane. He'll be that 19th car up top side.
Well, it was a good idea, I guess, by Truex. Drop down, see he'll go with you, drive all the way to the Truex is looking all the way back to 19th. You're going to need a whole lot more than just 2, maybe 3 cars if you're going to try to make a move and go to the bottom of the racetrack. Right now, everybody running nose to tail up against that outside safety barrier. 17 laps are complete. Paul Menard right now showing the way here at Daytona. Right now, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification on the Motor Racing Network.
Hot and heavy, 5 Fords up front in the Advanced Auto Parts Clash at Daytona.
Welcome back to Daytona International Speedway, the unofficial season opener for the NASCAR Cup Series. Glad to have you with us on a overcast but warm Sunday afternoon here in Daytona Beach, Florida. Paul Menard right now leading, albeit early, 18 laps in. Brad Keselowski, Joey Logano, Ryan Blaney, Ryan Newman make up the top 5. And Alex is talking a minute about strategy. We're going to see a caution flag come out at either lap 25, possibly sooner. If we stay green, it comes out at lap 25. There is an opportunity, if you choose to deploy it, to make a strategy move.
That's going to be up to the crew chiefs and their engineering staff down there on the pit lane. Perhaps they had a strategy in mind. Maybe the red flag for a little rich. You see that on the pit lane? Do you expect anybody to pit before lap 25?
Really tough to say, and I've got no indication. Of course, talking to the crew chiefs, they're never going to tell us that they're going to do that. So right now, everyone is staying where they're supposed to be on pit wall here, but we're still 5 laps away from that lap 24 mark. I know when it was mentioned to us, I know that there was some talk, but some crew chiefs kind of perked up and thought they might do it. So I don't know how those crew chiefs are, especially guys that might be mid-packing back. They might look at get in here, get some gas, get back out on the racetrack, and that way, when we go back to green after that caution, they're able to reshuffle the field. So I think they will, but right now, there's no indication of anybody planning on it right now. We're still 3 or 4 laps away from that.
They might want to go and hit pit road at lap 24. Hit pit road lap 24. When that caution flag comes out, their stop's done, and they're out there in the racetrack. The ones that are up front, they might just take it right to the caution flag at lap 25, but there is a chance for some strategy here for the guys that are all the way in the back of the pack, like Kevin Harvick, and how Truex got shuffled to the back. They might try lap 24 and try to screw them along that one.
We'll find out in about 3.5 laps. As a reminder right now, there is just no 2x2, 3x3 racing going on, nose to tail. So let's tell you where they're running right now before we get to lap 25. Menard continues to lead over Brad Keselowski. Kurt Busch in his new ride with Chip Ganassi Racing goes 6th. Kyle Busch in the Toyota 7th. His teammate Denny Hamlin 8th. Daniel Suarez, who used to be the teammate with those two, not anymore. He goes over and drives a Ford for Stewart Haas Racing. Suarez right now 9th. And the winner of the Daytona 500 from a year ago, Austin Dillon, is 10th.
Kyle Larson lines up in single file formation in the 11th spot. Clint Boyer is 12th. Eric Jones 13th. Jimmy Johnson is 14th. 15th is Alex Bowman. Jamie McMurray is 16th on the racetrack. Kevin Harvick 17th. Eric Almirola 18th. Martin Truex Jr. 19th. And with 21 laps now, 22 laps complete.
The caution flag from field right now working back to turn number 1, led by Paul Menard.
And everybody for the moment just content to ride in lockstep up in that outside groove. Paul Menard, Brad Keselowski, Joey Logano, the top 3.
No one really pressed to make any moves at this juncture, being that we anticipate a trip to pit road by everybody right now following Paul Menard after 3.
Keselowski, Logano in the top 3. Then it's Ryan Blaney, followed by Ryan Newman, Kurt Busch, and then Kyle Busch. Those top 6 cars all go single file back off turn 4.
This 20-car freight train nose to tail is right together on the racetrack. No one has lost the track. Back across the start line. Continue the field back to turn 1.
Paul Menard, Brad Keselowski, Joey Logano continue to meet the top three. Ryan Blaney rides in the fourth spot. Ryan Newman in position number 5. Then the first Chevrolet, that belongs to Kurt Busch.
Kurt Busch right now following the car of Ryan Newman. Matter of fact, fading back by maybe a half a car length or so. Now closes back in on the middle car, and what would eventually be a battle for fifth.
Just behind them, you have Denny Hamlin running unchallenged in the 7th spot. Daniel Suarez having a great run at 8, sitting just ahead of last year's Daytona 500 pole sitter, Austin Dillon.
All right, so lap number 24 is going to go on the board right here. So if they're coming, it should be.
I think probably the last 4 or 5 cars at least, as they come down and get ready to take lap 25, I think they're going to hit pit road and try to snooker these guys. I really do. I could be wrong. Hope I'm not.
Field works off turn 2 towards Mike Bagley.
Here they come now with Paul Menard, Brad Keselowski, Joey Logano. Single file formation. Keselowski took a peek for just a moment to the inside of Menard. Last time through, they were on the outside. Now everybody huddles up at the bottom of the racetrack.
Except for Denny Hamlin, who is the lone car that goes topside, still running outside of the top 5 as Paul Menard leads the field off the corner.
And here they come. They are all but maybe 5 cars headed to pit road. The caution will come out in 1 lap. Never mind that.
The first one that's going to hit this stall in my section is Daniel Suarez. Clint Boyer and Kyle Larson nearly made contact, both aiming for the same piece of real estate. Suarez got his car stopped, no problem. Right side tires and fuel, that's all he's going to take. Kyle Larson, right side tires and fuel. opting to stay out on the racetrack. Steve Cody.
Yeah, Denny Hamlin in his 4 tires. Kyle Busch, Jimmy Johnson, Eric Jones. You mentioned Eric Almirola won the battle off from pit road. Remember, he pitted on lap 10. He did fuel only. Now watching Eric Jones wrap up his pit stop. Damage on the left rear of his car as they now rolls down pit road. So some damage on Eric Jones' automobile.
All right, guys, thank you very much. 5 cars stayed out. It would be Alex Bowman, Kevin Harvick, Martin Truex, Austin Dillon. The caution flag is out, sponsored by Moneyline, the world's most powerful financial membership. Moneyline, here we roar.
Here are the top 10 drivers at this point of the race, presented by Gatorade. Austin Dillon being shown as the race leader. Alex Bowman second. Jamie McMurray third. Kevin Harvick fourth. Martin Truex Jr. fifth. Paul Menard sixth. Brad Keselowski seventh. Joey Logano eighth. Ryan Blaney ninth. And Kyle Busch 10th. Gatorade tested in the lab, proven on the field. Gatorade Thirst Quencher, the proven sports fuel.
And the Advanced Auto Parts Clash break has taken place, but guess what? All the cars that came down pit road just a moment ago came before the break at lap 25, and Eric Almirola among them got nabbed for speeding on pit road at number 10. And a penalty, as we see displayed on our ISA vision screens, for the number 41 of Daniel Suarez. Too many men, too early over the wall. They have to be within 2 pit stalls before they jump over the wall again. This is the first chance. Adrenaline flowing at the highest for the crew members for the first time in 2019. Suarez Stewart Haas Racing Team getting pinched for jumping over the wall a bit too soon as the car was on approach to pit stall for pit stops. One key element that's new in 2019, the Daytona International Speedway has reshaped pit length of each pit box. There are now 40 pit boxes on pit road versus 43, so perhaps that extra room in each pit box may have gotten the team off sequence just ever so slightly on pit road for Suarez. So Suarez and Almirola will have to go to the back of the field on this restart.
Your chance to win $250 simply by sharing your opinion in our MRN fan vote. Here's the first question. Who will win the Advanced Auto Parts Clash at Daytona? Would it be Austin Dillon, Alex Bowman, Jamie McMurray, or Kevin Harvick? It's easy to do. Share your opinion at mrn.com/vote. From Daytona International Speedway, this is the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR.
And our ISM Vision screens are reminding you to win $250 just by going on mrn.com/vote for the MRN Live vote. That'll happen throughout Daytona Speed Weeks, presented by Advent Health. Great information as well on mrn.com. Stories, photos of the entire weekend, starting lineups, and more. If you missed it earlier today, we had qualifying presented by Kroger for the Daytona 500. Top 4 cars in the grid after qualifying were all Hendrick Motorsports teams of William Meyer and pretty good American race coming Sunday. Ticket package remain for the remainder of Daytona Speed Weeks presented by Advent Health. Daytona Tours building outside turn number 4 is your best place to find your tickets. You also can buy them online at Daytona500.com. Find out more about the UNOH Fan Zone by downloading our free fan mobile app. And our free Wi-Fi is available throughout the concourse and the Geico grounds here at Daytona.
Back to Daytona International Speedway, the Advanced Auto Parts Clash under our second caution flag. This is the mandatory caution that just came out 2 laps ago. Now, the field has finally been picked up by the pace car, the entire field that is, after a handful of cars elected to come in and pit just before the caution flag flew. Pit lane is open this time by should anybody else elect to come in.
And again, we had everybody, I think 15 cars in all, come to pit road prior to the caution flag coming out. 5 cars stayed on the racetrack, and now we're seeing exactly that. 5 cars peeling down off the racetrack and headed to pit road. Among them, Austin Dillon, Alex Bowman. You've got Jamie McMurray. Let's cover the stop. Here comes Kevin Harvick in.
And he is, and there was some debate between he and crew chief Rodney Childers about staying out. They think there may be some cold weather coming. They decided to come down, though, taking 4 tires fuel. Piece of tape on the 4 car. For Alex Bowman, 2 stalls behind him, 4 tires fuel, and some tape on that Nationwide Chevy as well. Winston Kelly.
And Austin Dillon on pit road, that gold Tracker Boat Chevrolet, signifying the 50th anniversary of Richard Childers Racing. They changed 4 tires, topped it off with some both fuel. Speed pipe.
Castle did pit service here, or not in Castle. Jamie McMurray in pit service here on this one. Winston, you mentioned the damage on the rear of Austin Dillon's car. That came from the front of Eric Jones' car. On that last restart, they kind of got jumped up here on the front straightaway, and Eric Jones got in the back of Austin Dillon, and so the team took some extra time just to make sure a massage on the nose of Eric Jones' car, as he's the one that got into the back of Austin Dillon's car.
So, a couple of penalties have been handed out. Eric Almirola got busted for speeding coming on the pit lane a few moments ago. And Daniel Suarez, he's been busted as well. He'll have to restart at the tail end of the line because the crew was over the wall too soon, 28 laps in.
And we see on ISM Vision screens, we saw some damage on the rear of the number 3 Dow Chevrolet of Austin Dillon, our Daytona 500 reigning champion. And just pointing out on the ISM Vision screens was the nose of the Sport Clips number 20 of Eric Jones. The word Camry was missing across the nose of his Toyota. So perhaps that bumper-to-bumper connection on the final restart or coming down pit road with all the big jumble. 2 and 3 and 4 wide coming to pit road for the first pit stop of 2019 for these teams. Damage to the rear of the 3 of Austin Dillon. And damage to the black, white, and red number 20 of Eric Jones. We also saw a couple of pit stops being taken already by Martin Truex, unofficially coming to pit road twice already, as well as the number 4 of Kevin Harvick. Now to pit road again. You got these are the first time you'll see these colors, and maybe the only time during Daytona Speed Weeks presented by Advent Health you'll see these colors. McDonald's on this car come 500 time next Sunday.
We go back green flag racing next time by from Daytona International Speedway. This is the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR.
Eric Almirola was half a lap away from winning the Great American Race 1 year ago. His team intact with Johnny Cosmo, the crew chief. They are now refueling and topping off the fuel on that Smithfield Ford. Car number 10 going off pit road. And he made it eligibility to get in the Advanced Auto Parts Clash by becoming a 2018 playoff driver. Other drivers and their eligibility to get in this race, former race champions and former Daytona 500 champions, winners who compete full-time in 2018, as well as 2018 Monster Energy Series pole winners. And playoff drivers are eligible. These 20 drivers, again, remaining on track. A lot of single-file runs, but a lot of discovery. The Mustang, brand new body for the Fords. They ran top 5 throughout the race thus far. Now we're going to double up behind the pace car and bring them again to song. The pace car remains illuminated. One indication for you fans of when we go back racing is when the lights go off on the pace car, but they remain on now on that Chevrolet Camaro ZL1 on the high banks in turn 3.
Oh, the lights are on, really?
Oh, what?
On the right side, they're winding the laps down.
Why?
Rain, wind, bush. What's going on with Kyle?
Back at the World Center of Racing, the Advance Auto Parts Clash coming to lap number 30. The green flag has been waved off this time, so we'll wait and see. It's going to be at least another lap or two. There's some drivers out of order trying to figure out where they're supposed to be in order to get restarted. Now, keep in mind, with 30 of 75 laps now complete, no stage racing in today's event, which means should there be a deluge and more weather come along, this race could be called official after halfway, which would be lap 38.
You know, and you're right. I'll tell you what I'm watching right now, and it's probably as interesting as anything I've seen so far on the racetrack under the green flag, and that's the shuffle going on right now. Timing and storing with NASCAR at one point had Kyle Busch and Paul Menard at the front of the field. Now, Dave, you've been watching it over there as well. 2 and 3 wide. I'm still not sure where Kyle Busch is going to end up.
Been a heck of a race behind the pace car here. Kyle Busch, you're right, a moment ago was directed, I believe, to go up to the outside of the front row. Now he has fallen in line on the inside of row number 4. Drivers are kind of ducking and weaving, trying to get where they belong. And this is working out one way or another, Mike Bagley, into the extra couple of laps under caution some of these guys might need to get all the way to pay dirt.
Yeah, I'm sure that a lot of crew chiefs are petitioning for more scoring rearrangement, because the more that happens, the less fuel they will burn. Right now, as the pace car passes me in turn 3, it is Ryan Blaney to the inside of Paul Menard on row 1, with Keselowski to the inside of Hamlin on row 2. Seems like all the reorganization has taken place and everybody is just getting stacked up double wide behind the pace car.
Don't go anywhere. That might change, and we'll reset it for you if it does. The field is coming to the Geico Restart Zone. Great news. There's a quick way you could save money. Switch to Geico. Go to geico.com, and in 15 minutes you could save 15% or more on car insurance.
Well, that means we've got an opportunity before we go back green flag racing to visit with Mike Creedon, Advance Auto Parts President, North Division. Welcome to the Motor Racing Network broadcast booth, and thanks so much for your involvement here at Daytona.
It's great to be here. It's just a dynamic, incredible place to see live and to see these racers. It's incredible.
This event has been something that's been spectacular to kick off Speed Weeks every single season. What makes it so special?
This is our 3rd year at Advance Auto Parts sponsoring, and this is the race week. It's the Super Bowl of racing, and so for us to be a part of it and kick off this season, it's great for our 71,000 team members to be associated with this.
Advance Auto Parts Clash here in Daytona. Advance Auto Parts, obviously I think just about everybody has been to one. You guys are all over the place. What all do you offer, and anything special that race fans now can be a part of?
Absolutely. We take care of everything our customers need, whether it's simple wipers or oil change, do-it-yourselfers, and our professional customers. Anything you need for your car, we'll take care of it at Advance.
Thanks so much for your involvement here in Daytona International Speedway and NASCAR. This, you said, your 3rd year. We welcome you back, and thanks so much for this event.
Great being here. Thanks, guys. Let's hope we don't get any more rain and finish a great race.
Right on with that. That's Mike Creedon, Advance Auto Parts President, North Division.
Also want to thank Mike for his support of the Motor Racing Network. We appreciate what you do for us. All right, the field right now working down the back straightaway. I believe we have everybody in line, so we'll recap it this way. 32 laps complete when we come around to pick up the green flag. That will leave us with 43 to go, and here's how they will line up. Up front, Paul Menard, Ryan Blaney, row 1. Denny Hamlin, Brad Keselowski, row 2. Kyle Larson and Ryan Newman, they're side by side in row 3. Row number 4 sees Jimmy Johnson and his teammate Chase Elliott. Row 5 now, Kyle Busch and Joey Logano.
Pace car lights are out as they exit turn number 4 as we get set And for the Geico restart, it's Menard has been dominant here in the mid stages of this race. Paul Menard has led more laps today than in his prior 4 starts in the Advanced Auto Parts Clash combined. So no doubt about it, he and that Wood Brothers team have a fantastic Ford Mustang as they head for the green flag coming to the trioval.
His 5th career start, and it's actually Paul top 4. Looks like the same guy is going to get the break, and that's that Wood Brothers Ford Mustang of Paul Menard.
Another jackrabbit start for the 21 team. Menard quickly away to the lead. The battle now will be for second. Ryan Blaney, bottom of the racetrack. Danny Hamlin, top side. There's 2 by 2.
Meanwhile, further back, first driver to step into 3 wide territory is Jimmy Johnson. He'll come flying around the outside of about the 4th row, and now everybody gets all tightly packed together. Here we go, 3 wide, 4 rows deep from 5th place on back.
Jimmy Johnson in the outside lane has Kyle Larson and Ryan Newman to his inside. They run 3 wide for the 5th spot as Paul Menard leads the field off turn 4.
And Paul Menard is going to the top side, to the bottom side. He's trying to hook up a lot of his teammates to get some drafting going on, but then he has to find on Menard.
Challenge now coming inside and out for Danny Hamlin in that number 2 position. To the bottom of the racetrack, here comes Ryan Blaney. He'll put a nose to the inside of Hamlin. He's got drafting help down low from Kyle Larson.
Kyle Larson trying to get it done after getting shuffled 3 wide in the middle last time through. Kyle Larson has regrouped, and right now is the 2nd car on the inside lane. But it's the outside line prevailing at the moment with Paul Menard in control.
As drafting help topside from Denny Hamlin, Brad Keselowski, Jimmy Johnson up to 4th, and then the side-by-side racing begins from 5th on back between Ryan Blaney and Kyle Busch.
And into the start-finish line, 34 laps on the board. The field getting after it, 20 cars strong. Across the stripe, Brad Keselowski is there lending assistance.
Up to the number 4 spot now. Here comes Jimmy Johnson. He's got Kyle Busch in tow. Down low, still fighting for some drafting help. Ryan Blaney beginning to backtrack on that inside lane as the top 5 break free.
The numbers have broken out of the inside line and have gone to the outside. The inside lane is not where you want to be. Everybody jostling for real estate there as they continue to plummet virtually all the way to the tail end of the field.
Ryan Blaney was running side-by-side for 5th a lap ago. He is now in about the 14th position, side-by-side with Chip Selly for that spot.
Well, you saw Paul Menard the last 2 or 3 laps trying to get to the bottom lane to help Ryan Blaney, his teammate, trying to pull forward. And Blaney went all the way to the back of this field, and right now Menard's up front. He tried, but just could not help his teammate.
Right now, Paul Menard is leading over Denny Hamlin. Again, the top 10. Well, now everybody has once again, Alex shuffled up against the outside safer barrier. Boy, it was on there for a moment, 2 and 3 wide racing. I think Batman called it when he said, 4 rows deep, 3 wide racing. It looked like that inside line was finally going to crank it up and get working. It has not, and everybody right now electing Alex to just work the outside of the racetrack.
They all, 19 I should say, of the 20 drivers are working that outside lane. It's not going to work. He falls back in line and rides in the 19th position. Rusty, how surprised are you of what we're seeing racing-wise?
Really, I'm not surprised right now because you really need to be logging laps right now. Right now, Alex, is not the time to be racing. You got to keep up with the Joneses, so to speak. But I think as this race winds down, about 15 laps to go, guys, you better get going and you better try that bottom lane. You better look for a partner. If not, you're just going to finish where you are. So a little bit longer before they get going.
You know, the other thing we better do is examine those Progressive keys to the race presented by Progressive Insurance. And the reason is we are about halfway through this thing. 37 down, 38. That is not going to take anybody to victory lane other than Paul Menard. What do they got to do here?
Well, right now, I mean, they get an A+ on everything that I wrote down so far in my Progressive keys to the race. Number 1, I said, don't get all jacked up and crazy, go out there, wreck the car right off the bat because you're so anxious. Right now, they're logging laps and doing a good job. Number 2, I said, watch that back straightaway. Remember, a lot of guys were complaining about the cars moving around in practice, uncomfortable because of the setups that are in these cars. They're doing good there right now. The other thing I said, above all, get the whole entire race under your belt, so you've got a good notebook going into the 150s and the Daytona 500. So far, they're doing a pretty good
News is presented by Progressive Insurance. Pick from a range of coverage options with the Name Your Price tool to find a price that works for you. 38 down. Alex, that means we are
halfway home in the Advanced Auto Parts class in this 75-lap race. The field single file, working the way down the Daytona super stretch, headed towards Kyle Rickey in turn 3. Kyle, have you seen the cars basically remain stable, or have you seen some guys out there fighting the race cars?
Yeah, for the most part, they are stable. There's a couple of drivers that have since faded to the back of the pack, like Austin Dillon and Eric Almirola, that are fighting the race cars, nearly losing the draft a couple of laps ago. They've got back in the line, got single file.
Those hotels, those beautiful hotels that dot the beach, they're gone. That heavy cloud cover has moved back in, and we are hearing there is moisture in the air, albeit we are, like Alex pointed out, past halfway. Caution flag is coming out, and yes, we are hearing that it is indeed moisture in the air. 39, it will be 40 laps complete with 35 to go. Quick look at the top 5 under caution. Paul Menard, Denny Hamlin, Brad Keselowski, Jimmy Johnson 4th, and Kyle Busch right now riding 5th, again under caution. Now, even though we are going to work a little bit slower, we are getting closer to the final lap of the race. Brought to you by Wrangler Performance Series, a collection of jeans and pants featuring the Comfort Flex waistband and denim that flexes for comfort. Wrangler Performance Series, why don't you try on a pair today?
I guess we'll wait for them to red flag it.
We will slow them to a safe pace as the drivers indicated 200 miles per hour with tires without treads, and the high banks of Daytona does not equate to a fun time. And again, with the size of this facility, weather could take place in an area that no one else feels or sees. And indeed, we have moisture on the racetrack, so it'll bring us to a slowdown here. 40 laps are complete. Paul Menard has led all 40 and the best lap of his run. Actually, I don't think he led during that caution period because the cars that stayed on track at lap 24. But he led the majority of these race laps, 37 of the 40. Kurt Busch has led 1. I'm sorry, Austin Dillon has led 3 laps, and Kyle Busch has led 1 lap in the M&M's Camry. Interesting to see single file action. Then we see Daniel Suarez popping out of the line, making a textbook pass off of turn 4. Lots more racing to come. Once we get back to action, we encourage you to enjoy the concourses here at Daytona. The free Wi-Fi throughout the concourse and the Fan Midway, as well as our like around grounds in the infield, is available to you. Enjoy that and plan your rest of your Daytona Speed Weeks presented by Advent Health by downloading our free mobile app in the App Store on your device. Utilizing our free Wi-Fi and enjoy checking your email, texting your friends. By all means, share your experiences on social with @DIS Updates on Twitter and Instagram.
Keep going around.
Thursday and Sunday, but it's on and off. It's a heavy mist. It's a light drizzle, but it'll do it for a minute. It'll stop for a minute, and it'll kick back in. So we're just in the ebb and flow of Mother Nature's, I don't want to say wrath, but perhaps maybe her mood right now over Daytona Beach, Florida.
Mike, I think you just called that pesky, spotty showers. Is that right?
Yes, that's exactly right.
That's what it seems like is happening right now. Watch the weather this morning before I come to the track, and they predicted that's what's going to happen. We're not having the weather lined up in a solid line coming across the track. It gets us a leaves, it gets us a leaves. But for the drivers and for the teams down there right now, they can't seem to get any rhythm built up right now. We are logging laps down. We're at lap 41 right now out of 75. And I predict close to the end of this race, we're going to see them really get after it because, again, like I said, no reason to get in a big hurry right now. Log some laps. Try to understand what your car's doing. I'm still predicting like 15 laps to go, Jeff. That's when it's going to happen.
What I'd like to see is get that green flag back out, get it out in a hurry. Because the radar doesn't look all that great. If you're looking at the radar compared to everything that's led up to 4:26 Eastern time here, it's been good, but now it begins to look a little bit less promising. So hopefully, and again, as we look down, the track is virtually virtually dry. It's not completely dry. And we'll check in with Mike and take a swing around the racetrack in a minute and get the latest on that. They have not brought the track dryers out. That's the good news. The jet dryers are put away. The Toyota track drying team has not been called into action. Why don't we do this? We'll take a quick break, come back, give you the latest as soon as we can. The caution's out, sponsored by Money Lion on lap 41 from Daytona International Speedway. This is the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR.
As we circulate under caution, if you're taking all things into consideration during Daytona Speed Weeks presented by Advent Health, I just saw a police escort leading into the blue garage in the infield right behind the Daytona 500 Club. Some of the NASCAR Racing Experience race cars being placed in the garage area for you to take advantage of that opportunity to ride or drive at Daytona. It begins tomorrow morning, 8 to 5, 8 to 5 Tuesday, 8 to 5 Wednesday. Thursday morning from 8 till 11:20 a.m. You can drive or ride in a NASCAR Racing Experience machine here on the high banks of Daytona. Go to NASCARRacingExperience.com/DS to find out more. It's great to have them as a partner here sponsoring Saturday's first race of the NASCAR Xfinity Series season, the NASCAR Racing Experience 300 on Saturday. Get your tickets now while the best seating is available to you. And we can't tell you how great the merchandise is here. One time here at Daytona, I counted 28 different styles of hats that say Daytona or Daytona 500 on them. Take away some great wearables this weekend for your experience during Daytona Speed Weeks presented by Advent Health and all the great racing that has yet to come. As Thursday, you know, the Gander RV Duel is happening. Those races are always exciting. 150 milers. We'll put them back to back on Thursday. Friday night, we shine the lights on the NASCAR Gander Outdoors Truck Series and the Next Energy 250. Saturday's the NASCAR Racing Experience 300, and throughout all of that, starting Thursday, on-track activity for the great competitors racing in the Great American Race, the Daytona 500. Tickets are available there as well. We encourage you to get your tickets now. Tell your friends tickets are available, but going quickly for the remainder of the activity here. Daytona Speed Weeks presented by Advent Health.
It's just sprinkling.
Lap 25, and then we had a 21-minute, 31-second long red flag a little earlier before that mandatory caution. So that's been basically the story. Other than that, Paul Menard has been the driver who has been at the front of the field. Denny Hamlin's been pestering the back bumper a handful of laps. Keselowski rides third. He's taken his opportunity to ride inside the top five for the majority of the day. Jimmy Johnson is fourth, Kyle Busch fifth, Kurt Busch is sixth, Daniel Suarez seventh, Mark Truex Jr. rides eighth, Clint Boyer ninth, and Jamie McMurray is currently shown 10th.
Taking a look at the rest of the field as they now come to pit road, and sometimes that's not a good sign, sometimes it's not a bad sign. Obviously, NASCAR wants to get out and have access to the racetrack with the track drying team and the jet blowers, so they're going to bring the cars back down pit road again. Alex gave you the top 10 from 11th on back. Eric Jones 11th, Logano right now 12th, Chase Elliott 13th, followed by Kyle Larson 14th and Ryan Blaney 15th, Ryan Newman 16th, Kevin Harvick 17th, Eric Almirola 18th, and Alex Bowman and Austin Dillon. Lap 43, the yellow flag is out. In a moment, that will more than likely go red.
Yeah, and the field now will almost come to a complete stop. The front half of the field has already done so. The NASCAR officials on the pit road lined up alongside those race cars as Paul Menard, again the race leader, is the first one to come to a stop right up against the grass to driver's right on the pit road. Aussie rule number 4, victory is best served with a bloomin' onion. If Kevin Harvick finishes in the top 10 in today's race, then it's free bloomin' onions tomorrow at Outback Steakhouse. Brought to you by Outback Steakhouse. Aussie rules.
Kevin Harvick has not been a factor yet. Again, we got a long way to go. We just went past halfway a handful of laps ago, and when you look at some of the drivers that we would expect to be up there, Logano 12th, Chase Elliott, Kyle Larson. I mean, when you look at 11th on back, they're hitters. But you know what? That's what this race is all about, Dave Moody. It is the hitters of our sport. 20 drivers, arguably the best of the 20 from 2018. trying to do battle here, and I just don't feel like we have seen by any stretch the best. I think people have either logged laps, felt moisture in the air, and therefore have felt, I guess, empowered or content to simply ride.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right about that, Jeff. It's either not been time to get out there 2 and 3 wide, or not been possible due to a damp racetrack. I know these teams had hoped to get a pretty good and a pretty long bit of drafting practice in here this afternoon. It just hasn't worked out, at least so far. We can get Mother Nature to relinquish her grip for 20 or 25 minutes at a stretch. We might be able to get that kind of work done.
They haven't even
Dave,
wrecked yet.
it's frustrating, no doubt about it. Frustrating, especially for all of the race fans who have come to Daytona International Speedway today. They saw pole qualifying for the 61st Daytona 500 earlier this afternoon. That went off without a hitch. Our congratulations to Hendrick Motorsports for sweeping the front row and locking themselves in those top 2 starting spots.
I'm not going to the
with
500.
William Byron grabbing the pole position for the Great American Race. His teammate Alex Bowman will start alongside on the outside of the front row. Here we are under the red flag for the second time in this one. And Rusty, we have talked throughout this broadcast, and even the drivers told Winston, Dylan, and Steve in the pre-race that, yeah, there's a big check and a nice trophy and some bragging rights to win the Advanced Auto Parts Clash, but there's also a great opportunity to learn what your race cars are going to do with your package that we're racing here in Daytona this week. But how much can you actually learn riding single file like we've seen the majority of this race?
Well, that's the unfortunate part. Right now, they're not learning much for a couple reasons. Like you said, they're just kind of running single file. I mean, they have learned that their cars seem like they're okay. Nothing's jumping out from underneath them right yet. But I will tell you, the weather, it's so overcast out there, and it's fairly cool. These are the track conditions that really cover up a bad handling car. So, I mean, I guarantee you this is not going to be the conditions probably for the Daytona 500. It'd probably be warmer, sunshine a little bit, slipping and sliding, longer runs. But right now, they can't get enough traction to make any long runs to really figure out what's going on. And they've been just out there logging laps, trying just to get to later on in the race before they do something. And for me, as a driver, looking down at what these guys are experiencing, they're not really learning anything right now. Well, maybe learning that, hey, my car seems okay now. That's about all they're learning, and things like that. But really, we got to get deeper into this race and more long runs before they learn anything.
Rusty, you're obviously a NASCAR Hall of Famer, 55 career wins at NASCAR's premier division. As a driver, if you were competing today, is this an opportunity when you have a second red flag to kind of pull out the free flag with your competition? Say, hey guys, we're not accomplishing anything. I'm not learning what I need to learn. Is that something that you could do during a red flag?
No, I wouldn't say anything like that to them because, I mean, we all know what's going on. The crew guys and myself, we know the situation we're already in. I mean, maybe a crew chief's kind of pumping his guys up. Don't let them get lazy out there. Hey, we gotta stay on our game. And hey, drivers, stay on it. Don't get lazy and give up just because the weather's bad and it's kind of doom and gloom feeling out there because of the overcast skies and stuff. You got to stay jacked up all the time. Again, mentally, you got to say, look, I would love to win this race. If I can't win this thing, I got to get some reps so I can get better prepared for these other races that I keep telling you about in nauseam. The Daytona 500 and the 150s. A big practice session. With this said, William Byron, our pole sitter for the Daytona 500, he's not in this race. If he was in this race right now, I'm not for sure he would be learning much either because they just can't get any traction, Jeff. They can't get going right now.
Well, hopefully we can get back under the green flag, get ourselves about, I don't know, maybe by the time we put the yellow away, maybe 28, 27, 26 laps of green flag racing. And maybe we'll not only be entertained, we'll learn something along the way. You keep mentioning, and for good reason, the 61st running of the Daytona 500 from the Daytona International Speedway. Don't forget that's coming your way on Sunday, 1 week from today. There are still tickets available, so check out the website here and get yourself some tickets. Come on down and join us. If not, our airtime next weekend, you want to make a note of this, 1:30 Eastern. Woody Kane, Kim Kuhn will have the NASCAR Live pre-race show. They'll take you all the way up to the green flag. Again, the Daytona 500 next Sunday at 1:30. We do have a lot of great programming. When we came on here yesterday, we said 9 straight days of Motor Racing Network in one fashion or another, whether it be here at the racetrack, at the Outback Steakhouse, on MRN.com. Let's take a look at what we've got coming up here on Monday.
Yeah, it's going to be fantastic. 7 o'clock Eastern time, 7 p.m. Eastern, tomorrow evening. MRN's 50 Daytona 500s, hosted by Fred Armstrong. MRN.com, you can check it out there. All of our affiliate stations. And Jeff, this is a fantastic show because this will be the Motor Racing Network's 50th broadcast of the Great American Race.
Unbelievable. And pick out whatever favorite Daytona 500 you had, what you remember. Was it Dale Earnhardt's win? Was it the race of 1979 when they crashed and were fighting on the back straightaway? Whatever it is, I can all but guarantee you that it will be a part of Monday night's show beginning at 7 o'clock, 50 Daytona 500s.
And Tuesday, live from Outback Steakhouse. It's NASCAR live from Outback Steakhouse. And that's with Mike Bagley. Check that out. That's going to be fantastic. Jeff, myself, Rusty, we're all going to be over there along with some special guests. That is going to be Tuesday evening at 7 o'clock. And then Wednesday, it's Media Day here at the Daytona International Speedway. And we'll have all of that for you live starting 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time to 11 for session number 1. And then again, 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time to 3 p.m. Eastern. That will be, you can catch all of that at MRN.com. And then that night, Wednesday evening at 7 o'clock Eastern Time, Mike Bagley will have the best of Media Day. That'll be a fantastic show because there's an awful lot of fun stuff that comes out of Media Day.
If you missed any of that or you want to keep caught up on the Duel, the trucks will be here, Xfinity will be here. We've also got the Daytona 500. If you missed anything, you want to stay up to speed with what we're going on, what we've got going on, go to MRN.com. We continue to sit under the red flag. Why don't we check downstairs? The drivers are able to chat with us, or actually the drivers are not, but crew chiefs are. And we'll do this presented by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Let's hear from the winning crew chief from a year ago.
That would be Paul Wolfie. Calls the shots for Brad Keselowski this time. He's sitting in third position, and looks like you guys are going to line up third. Going to line up right behind your affiliate teammate. What's Brad telling you about the car, Paul?
He hasn't talked a whole lot about the car. It seems like we're just riding there right now, trying to hold that track position until we get to the closing laps. And we had a clean stop on pit road. The guys did a great job on the know at Ford to get us keep us at track position. Now we're kind of watching the radar and playing that game a little bit too, and hopefully we can have a shot at it.
Seems like the outside line has been the quick line where everybody's kind of migrated to, but you guys are going to start on the inside. So how does that really change the strategy a little bit?
Well, I'm not sure where the 21's going to go. If we can push hard and get this stuff going down and get clear. But no doubt the bottom team's top right now, and everyone's down there. And once that's outside, it's not going to go.
I'll look to the big winner. Crew chief for this again. You hear about that? The cars have been refired. They're going back on the racetrack to run off to do back to the race.
Here at Daytona International Speedway, 42 drivers trip to the World Center of Racing, and Jim, Alex Bowman, Hendrick Motorsports. Boy, those 4 cars were tough.
2 rounds of qualifying, and the qualifying order in the first round was set by Patrick Speed. So as it went on, cars went out last, and now to go up in the second round. The front row starters, William Byron and Alex Bowman. All 4 of the cars that Hendrick Motorsports fields will have the 4 fastest speeds. Jimmy Johnson had the pole speed until the final 2 teammates bumped him off the front row. And what would be the charge? What does he say on Twitter? Hashtag chasing 8.
William Byron, his first career Cup Series pole. And to have your first career Cup Series pole come here at the Daytona 500, that's an oh my moment. His teammate Alex Bowman, second consecutive Daytona 500 front row start. It was the 700th pole for Hendrick Motorsports.
Chevrolet, I believe, is the 700th pole. Alex Bowman.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. Yes. Chevrolet.
So maybe you took too many turns, Dean, in the Daytona Experience, the Chevrolet Camaro ZL1 that's on the turnstile right above their Chevrolet Daytona Experience. Perhaps you were in there for too many laps. You got
watching it here all day, turning around.
A little bit on the twisty side. But you know what's great about this? We see race cars on the racetrack.
Yes,
we see every effort being made to put this race on for you fans. We hope you enjoyed the Daytona Beer Fest that was going on in the Midway Suites area. That was from noon to 3 today. That's a lot of fun. So if you're hanging out, checking out NASCAR for the first time after enjoying some wonderful craft beers, we're going to see this race go away. 75 distance, and Chase Elliott has brought his car down to pit road. This is a backup car from the crash we showed you earlier. Qualifying was again for the Daytona 500. These cars are completely separate from that fleet of vehicles to run the Advanced Auto Parts Clash. So this team going through the motions, getting Chase Elliott 4 fresh tires on his machine is again, this is a car they've had on pit road a couple of times, and a great testing too as well for the front race runner for the 500, Alex Bowman. That's his paint job for the season in the Nationwide Chevrolet leading pit road.
And the lights are out atop that Chevrolet Camaro Pace vehicle. Next time by, we'll be going back to Green Flag Racing.
Chase Elliott was in, just like his teammate at Hendrick Motorsports, Alex Bowman. It was 4-tire Sunoco Racing Field. Did not see any adjustments, but maybe they might have done something with some air pressure just to adapt that race car a little bit. So Chase Elliott, the only one getting pit service down here, with 31 laps to go.
Field halfway down the back straightaway. We're half a lap away from coming back to the Geico restart. So the field beginning to take shape 2 by 2 as we get ready to go. And let's hope, Jeff, that we can run this thing to the advertised distance to lap number 75. So that's the one. It looks like the lights have just come back on top of the pace car.
Yeah, they have just waved off. They've got a safety vehicle right here in the tri-oval. As we get ready to enter the commercial-free zone presented by AutoZone. So they've waved it off, but don't go anywhere. I promise we're going to get this thing back under the green flag.
Race fans, I'd like to remind you that there are tickets available for the remainder of the Daytona Speed Weeks presented by Advent Health. By all means, stop by our Daytona Tours and Tickets building outside the Turn 4 tunnel. Our fan crew is also very helpful. So if you want to know where you'd like to be, or you heard about the great exhibits in the Exalta Injector, we can get you there. So see our great fan crew on the fan midway and in the concourse area. Great displays out in front of Toyota. Have you driven a truck up the ramp and let it teeter on down? You have a chance. Test drives all during Daytona Speed Weeks, presented by Advent Health. Thanks to Sunoco, we've got a great display there in the Sunoco Injector. And you need to check out all the wonderful health options available to you at the Florida Hospital, now rebranded as Advent Health Injector, closest to Turn 1. You can find some transient in and out of the UNH fan zone from the seating area here at the world's finest motorsports facility, the World Center of Racing here at Daytona. So we'll continue to pace around, take a look at the front stretch. We see a safety vehicle there, sweepers being dispatched as well. So perhaps something on the racetrack was not to the liking of the NASCAR officials. So we're bringing out the sweeper trucks to take one more look down the front straightaway. And eyes are towards Turn 2 as well to see if indeed that surface area is ready to go racing, as perhaps one of the vehicles was putting some fluids down based upon how much the sweeper truck's being put to use here towards Turn 1 of the tri-oval.
I wonder if we've got somebody with a potential problem.
All 20 of the cars are still on the racetrack, Jeff. What happens sometimes when you have jet dryers out on the racetrack? Sometimes jet fuel will leak from out of those. So that has happened in the past and different opportunities on the circuit. So that's something that could happen occasionally.
All right. Well, let's hope it was just as simple as that. We'll get it cleaned up, buttoned up, and that's what they're doing right now. Then hopefully we'll get back under the green flag with 30 to go, make it 29 the next time they come by. From Daytona International Speedway, this is the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR.
So we mentioned paint jobs. Have you seen the new merchandise for 2019? The Monster Energy NASCAR Cup merchandise is available. We encourage you to pick up Daytona merchandise. This is the best selection. This is the best day to get it. And if it has your size or your color, there may be limited quantities. I know there's a limited edition Daytona 500 cap numbered. Those are available at the pit shop, the official gear in the UNH fan zone. In the fan midway, right behind start finish, there's a huge area for merchandise options for you. for Daytona and your favorite driver.
Tim, if you buy it now, you can wear it when you come back on Thursday.
Or wear it when you're behind the wheel tomorrow in the National Racing Experience. Yeah, absolutely. How about styling your favorite driver's merchandise when you walk around the grandstands on Thursday already? That'd be pretty cool. How about walking up and down the beach, the world's most famous beach, walking up and down with your brand new merchandise of your favorite driver, or the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series schedule t-shirt. I'm sure there are plenty available now in your size. I'm sure that's part of your racing experience here as well. Picking up some great merchandise, some die casts, a coffee mug. If your friends collect golf balls or spoons or thimbles, head on down to the Daytona Pit Shop. We've got a lot of gear selection for you. The Daytona Tours building also has everything you'd ever want for Daytona. Some great wall art and more. That building also has not only tours and ticket sales, but a great Daytona Pit Shop full of merchandise for you to purchase here this weekend to, again, wear in style all during Daytona Speed Weeks presented by Advent Health.
Ready to go over there?
Only thing we're lacking right now is a green flag, Alex. Yes, the track is 100% ready to go. Field is all doubled up in the two abreast formation. We're ready to get back to racing here at Daytona.
Thank you, David. Here's how they're going to line up. Up front, row number 1, Denny Hamlin in the Toyota, Paul Menard in the Ford. Row 2, Brad Keselowski in the Ford, Jimmy Johnson in the Chevrolet. Row number 3, Kyle Busch in his Toyota, Kurt Busch in his Chevrolet. Row 4, Daniel Suarez in his Ford, Truex in the Toyota. And row number 5, Jamie McMurray and Clint Boyer.
Field is in turn number 3. The race fans here at Daytona International Speedway begin to rise to their feet as we anticipate a Geico restart this time by. As they come to the line, they'll complete lap number 47 of the scheduled 75 here in the Advanced Auto Parts Clash. Waiting for the pace car now to pull off the racetrack. This is a point in the race. We've seen them make that single file run for the better part of this race. I expect now to get busy.
Well, I would hope so. I mean, we're down to 28 laps to go. Here comes the field now. Off of 4, coming through the trial. The pace car comes to pit road. 28 laps to go. Waiting for the green flag to come back out. It does here at Daytona. Denny Hamlin down the inside. Jimmy Johnson.
Here's Menard away to the lead. Once again, the battle will be for second. Jimmy Johnson to the outside. Denny Hamlin to the inside. That's Toyota and Chevrolet inside and out. Then Brad Keselowski, he goes side by side with Kurt Busch as they make their way off the banking into the queue.
Paul Menard was able to scamper away, but now he is being gobbled up by the field. They have caught him. They are there, and here's Daniel Suarez. 3 wide to the inside. Mid-pack. Hamlin throws the block. Suarez jumps back up the middle. They're racing for about the 6th position at 3.
Hamlin's going to hang on to that 4th spot side by side with Kyle Busch behind the top 3, which lies single file right up against the outside wall. That's a hell of a
Menard's still the leader. That's the consistent. The inconsistent now is he has no Mustangs lined up at the back door. He's Jimmy Johnson, Kurt Busch, Kyle Busch, and Denny Hamlin.
Up until now, the Blue Oval boys have been able to gather up on that outside lane and work together. But right now, there is no working there. It is Menard in the Ford, Johnson in the Chevrolet, 1 and 2, then Kurt Busch and Kyle Busch.
They're teasing 3 wide for 5th in just a moment. Suarez was able to slide up there alongside of Hamlin and Truex. Suarez, no drafting help on the bottom. He will go to the back of the pack as Menard leads to 3.
Martin Truex Jr. just moves into the top 5, moving around Denny Hamlin to the outside. Clint Boyer is there as well in 6, side by side with Hamlin for that spot.
I'll tell you what crowd they're watching. Kurt Busch and that Monster Energy Chip Ganassi number 1 Chevrolet running forward right now. That car's looking
Suarez just a moment ago, last lap came by 6th, and like Mike Bagley said, got shuffled out of the draft. He dropped all the way to 20th, tail end of the field. Mike, if anybody can make the inside line work, the 2 guys lined up at the head of that ought to be able to do it, if it's able to be done.
Yeah, but the problem is, Jeff, we're talking about Denny Hamlin and Brad Keselowski, but they need help. There are only 5 cars on the inside of the racetrack, and they are losing a lot of ground.
Led by Denny Hamlin, Brad Keselowski, Kyle Larson, Ryan Newman, and Barry Almirola. That is it on the bottom. Everybody else is topside.
Working back to the start-finish line, lap number 50 on the board. 25 laps to go on the outside. push the front four.
That low line 5 not making any ground right now. As a matter of fact, Denny Hamlin has lost the spot. He's been passed in that outside lane by Ryan Blaney. Hamlin, though, coming back at him. They're just not able to make much progress further into the field.
Now those four will surge forward, and Hamlin will race side by side in a battle for 8th with Joey Logano. But again, the inside line stalls out, and they continue to lose momentum up the end of the super stretch.
That outside lane has all the momentum up the super stretch into turn number 3, and Hamlin, along with the other cars on the bottom of the racetrack, continue to fade off the corner.
Dave Moody, you would think it would be easy if you line up behind Paul Menard like Jimmy Johnson, Kurt, and Kyle are doing right now. Dive down to the inside and blow Paul Menard away. I guess that's just flat out easier said than done.
Well, it's easier said than done, perhaps, or maybe it's just not time to do it yet. Either way, Jimmy Johnson for the moment seems content to ride in the tire tracks for Paul Menard.
He is laying there right in the baffles of that legendary number 21 Wood Witherspoon Mustang. Jimmy Johnson not making any moves at all. He's got company of his own. He's got the brothers Busch, Kurt and Kyle lined up behind him.
Kurt Busch in that third spot. Kyle Busch in 4th. Martin Truex Jr. in 5th. Clint Boyer in 6th. They're all in single file off the start-finish line.
The first side-by-side battle is back for the number 10 position. That's where Denny Hamlin's working the inside lane. Now, one other driver peels out in front of them.
That's going to be Joey Logano, the defending series champion, jumps to the bottom. Takes the engineers rolling that. Picks off a couple of spots. Puts Kyle Larson in the rear view and then slams him right back up that line to the outside.
He quickly jumps upstairs right in front of Blaney and right behind the car of Clint Boyer. Now, here again, Hamlin, Keselowski, Larson, Newman, Eric Almirola, and they're still trying to pound away at the inside.
Again, Joey Logano steps out of line, has drafting help from Ryan Blaney on the inside, and here comes Logano. He is up to the side-by-side for the second spot.
And Logano's one of the only drivers I've seen so far make that bottom lane work, and right now he's another guy is looking good for Jimmy Johnson, that Chevrolet. He's got another Hendrick guy behind him, that one car. Kurt Busch, that's got a Hendrick engine in him. He can probably count on Kurt Busch helping him if Jimmy Johnson decides to make a move.
53 laps are complete, 22 to go, and be 21 next time by, and all of a sudden, Alex Hayden, maybe, just maybe, that inside line is going to work. All of a sudden, you've got a couple of teammates there, Joey Logano, Ryan Blaney, and a very good Toyota.
Yeah, those Toyotas at the back of that little pack, that's where Denny Hamlin is. But at the front of the inside line, there are two Team Penske Fords. It's Joey Logano and Ryan Blaney. They just to the right elbow of Logano.
They found the right leader for the bottom line band for a little bit of time, but Blaney now is falling back off the back bumper of Logano. Joey's falling all the way back in a side-by-side battle for 5th with Martin Truex Jr.
The inside line very disorganized. They're trying to get more people to help the inside line, trying everything they can. The outside line, oh, it's high and tight. Tight formation now, on top, led by Menard.
And then Jimmy Johnson, Kurt Busch, Kyle Busch, followed by Martin Truex Jr. Then you get back to Clint Boyer. That's where that inside lane is. On the right foot by Joey Logano.
Well, they're going to have to keep pedaling here because Menard just continues to try to put a little distance on the outside. He has now led more laps here at a Clash, 41 of them, than any other driver. The question is, Dave, can he lead the final 20?
Well, he's certainly hoping so, and a lot of Wood Brothers racing fans are hoping so as well. But Jimmy Johnson in the rearview mirror, the Busch brothers and Joey Logano have got other ideas.
Got some tough customers lined up behind him, but so far so good. Here comes Johnson! Oh, get it together! They're holding it away! The entire pack is going to crash, with the exception of 4 cars that make it through. Keselowski, Larson, Kyle Busch, Jamie McMurray, Martin Truex Jr., Newman.
Alex got through
I think Alex Bowman got through this relatively unscathed. He must have got Austin Dillon, Chase Elliott, a massive crash on the back straight away.
That's lap number 55. Caution on the speedway for the fourth time. Jimmy Johnson, Kurt Busch, Joey Logano, and Ryan Blaney. They're lonesome as they came by the start-finish line. Alex Bowman in It doesn't look like there's any scratches on the race car. Austin Dillon's beat-up race car has just come by the start-finish line. Mike, it's pandemonium over in turn 3.
Wow, we went from total calm and following Paul Menard halfway down the back straightaway to Jimmy Johnson pulling to the inside. It almost looked like Menard was throwing a block, and then they hit. They both pulled to the inside of the racetrack. They tried to sort it out, and then Menard got turned to the right, and he just got turned into virtually the base of the field. And everybody came piling in with only a handful of drivers able to make it through relatively unscathed. A massive crash over here at the entrance of 3.
Now let's go back about, what do you want to do, about 500 yards back to the feet of Dave Moody, and the question was, could Paul Menard hold on after leading more laps here at the Clash than any other driver in 40 years prior? The question is, can he lead the final 20? Well, we know the answer now. He and a number of other drivers are going to be done for the day. We are watching, it's a junkyard.
Look at Alex.
It's a junkyard on pit road.
Look at Alex.
And that's just the cars we see, Alex, because some of them are electing, forget about it, I'm not even going to come to pit road, and they're making their way already torn up into the garage.
They are indeed. Brad Keselowski went in the backside of the garage area, parked his car there. He has gotten out of his, doing it right now, as a matter of fact, as I got the binoculars on him. Keselowski's climbed out of his beat-up race car. They're back to go to the infield care center for a mandatory checkup there. Other drivers that didn't even make it back, Rusty, some of them have stopped short of pit lane, some of our other ones are on pit road. It's just chaos.
It is chaos right now. I just looked up the scoreboard. It was like 19 laps to go, and I said, man, it's about go time. And just about the time I was thinking that, Johnson went for it down the back straightaway. Menard pulled down to block him off. They both got together. Right now, Jimmy Johnson's leading this race, and guys, I'm looking out at turn 2. It looks like weather's about to dump on us again. We might have a lot of rain coming at us. This might be the end of this race.
Well, I'll tell you what, why don't we take a break? We're all going to collect our breath. We'll go back out and visit with Mike Bagley. We'll take it downstairs to Winston, Dillon, and Postman into the garage with Kim Kuhn. Yeah, the whole complexion of this race has just changed. We'll be back with more in a moment.
Well, that was exciting.
Fans, a lot of work to be done by these teams. Again, the primary cars for the Daytona 500 are tucked away in the garages safely. These teams using this race for a lot of reasons. Ultimately, a lot of teams will have work to be done and find out indeed what happens at these high rates of speed. 2 cars at the head of the field and a 20-car field have literally taken all but 4 or 5 cars and made them into souvenir scrap pieces. One more look on our ISM Vision screens of what happens when the race leader Paul Menard goes high up out in the outer wall along the safer barrier, and others try to make evasive action, but literally nowhere to go for a whole fistful of cars as they slide down the banking after making contact on the backstretch. Leaders Paul Menard and Jimmy Johnson getting together on the backstretch heading into turn 3, and then this broke loose and it broke hard for all these competitors.
Here.
You know how at times we talk about racing 2 wide, and then at times you might hear Bagman or Moody or Kyle go there 3 wide, and maybe once or twice during the entire 500-mile event we might say they're 4 wide. During that crash, I was just counting 8 wide from the bottom of the racetrack all the way to the safer barrier.
Yeah.
Cars pointed in different directions, but literally 8 wide. If you're just joining us now, we are under caution, and things have gone from bad to worse. It is now raining and raining hard here at Daytona. Turn 2 is about to disappear. The garage is filling up. Pit road is a junkyard, like I pointed out before. Alex, hey, there you go. That's kind of where I counted the 8 cars side by side. Look at that. What a mess there in turn number 3.
Well, yeah, and Mike Bagley described that carnage over there as it took place absolutely perfectly. And to my count, only 5 cars, the front 4 at the time, obviously no scratches on their machine, but Alex Bowman did a nice job of dodging, weaving, dipping, and diving to keep his blue and white Nationwide Chevrolet very clean. Bowman was able to get through. So only 5 cars got out of that with no scratches whatsoever.
All right, here's the deal. Let's go down to Winston Kelly. Then I believe it would be Steve Post. McMurray and Newman are the only cars on pit road. There's a handful of cars that are on the racetrack. The rest of them are junked. They're in the garage. Winston Kelly, let's start with you.
Yeah, Ryan Newman over to Ralph Fenway Racing. Got the winning rewards colors on the side of this Ford Mustang this year. A lot of damage to the right side of the car. Standing here at the back of the car, and we can see where the back bumper section has been caved in, right where the light would be on your passenger car. So a lot of damage down the right side of the car. The only one that's made their way over here, Joey Logano's still in the race. He's on this end of pit road. Of course, we've talked about Brad Keselowski and Paul Menard. They're on this end of pit road. Their cars will be retired for the day. And Jamie McMurray has pulled away. He was on pit road in front of Steve Post.
Yeah, Jamie McMurray, that car, while he is still driving, that is a wrecked race car. He's going to take it out, and he's probably going to finish ahead of those cars that didn't drive away. But Jamie McMurray's car is just truly rotten. The rear end looks like someone hit it at 200 miles an hour, which actually might have happened out there. Other cars had green cheese on it, had completely damage on it. He came in and changed the tires and that thing. And either at the rear end came in,
It's not helping any.
Because these cars are so good that it's not like cheese on it, stuff like that in the track box. They're going to get more of those race cars that come back to racing.
Red flag is out. Chevrolet pace car just brought the 8 cars that are running on the pit road. Only 5 of them appear to be unscathed. We'll recap it for you when we come back. From Daytona International Speedway, this is the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR.
And the 9th car still rolling. The Advent Health number 40 Chevrolet Jamie McMurray making a slow way around the racetrack down the back straightaway. 20 cars began this race, and with a contact with those 2 cars and the damage, cleanup will continue as weather's also put us on a temporary hold here on pit road. Please allow to bring out those car covers to cover the cars. You'll see a lot of care being taken for the air inlet at the base of the windshield on the hood area. That's where the air intake comes in. You don't need moisture in there. That's when the car gets fed with the air that breathes that motor to life, along with the fuel mixture. The electronic fuel injection. Jimmy Johnson, a 2-time winner of the Great American Race, has had his race end short in the last 7 Daytona races he's competed in, as you see up on our ISF vision screens. And to give you another familiarity, as you're coming back here through Daytona Speed Weeks presented by Advent Health, information like that will appear on your ISF vision screens. That same feed is provided to the fan visions. We encourage you to get those. Great audio, great team audio, great video screen to have in hand. We encourage you to have those in hand.
It's shaky because it's cold.
Let's take one more look at our vision screens of what transpired just moments ago in turn 3.
Hold it down.
Down the back stretch, the left white flag head is Paul leader. He and Jimmy Johnson make it. Johnson pings off and breaks free, and everything else behind him goes haywire. 4 cars were at the head of the field that broke free. 4 cars somehow made it through, as now we see Ryan Newman rejoining the fray.
It is cold.
May return to action once we're underway. One more look here. Bernard goes sideways. The cars are already lined up 2 and 3 wide.
It is cold.
Then it's a matter of survival.
Like it's not cold. Yes, it is.
Stay in your line. Go low. Go high. Wait for the car to go past you, then turn left. There's a lot of things going on in a brief split second for those drivers and teams that had really nowhere to go once Bernard's car broke loose. And this big knot of cars flying on the racetrack, and they kept piling up for turn number 3.
They're going to call
it. 12 cars involved in total in that crash.
Here in Daytona, but those race cars that were able to get away from the crash with any problems, and then those that get lost to damage. Ryan had some damage. Eric Almirola had some damage. Those drivers were able to continue. So who knows how this thing's going to play out, but right now we're able to stay inside those cars. That's unfortunate for others.
Paul Menard has just been released. Led the most laps, the most laps of anybody ever in the class for in your favor. What happened out there?
Some of the issue was, I guess, right? But fortunately, we just got turned there. I didn't really know what happened.
Okay,
That's what happens. He calls a wreck, you win the race.
Okay, Jimmy won. Subscribe to this channel because I'm in cold. Okay, I gotta go.
Get some hot chocolate. Somebody say go get some hot